Daily cycles with an update on April the 23rd. Here's my 4-week cycle, and it has not been that helpful the recent 6 months, but I still think it's kind of working. And right now we are in the bullish phase of this next cycle. So if we go back, we see here we had a pop-up with a bullish phase, and here we had a pop-up with a bullish phase. Then we had a kind of a failing cycle. It tried to pop up, but it was only a bounce in a downtrend. Then here the bullish phase works, and here we see we have a pop-up with the bullish phase. Here again we have a kind of a failing cycle. It tried to pop up, only a bounce in a downtrend. And then here we see we get a pop up with the bullish phase. So looks like we should perhaps have another pop up here with this bullish phase before this may roll over. And if you look at my wavelets here, we do have this. Absolutely looks like a setup for some kind of a top, and we have this topping formation that went over about 10 trading days. That's a typical topping formation, but it's probably room for a last pop-up here, one to a couple of days. And if I look at the hourly data, this could morph into something else, but the most obvious setup here is for another, say, 3 days, completing a topping formation. So I guess that's possible. In the bearish case, I would like to see this being sabotaged, not managing to find momentum and get a real pop, but more struggling and gapping down, struggling up before rolling over. So if we look at some cycles, these cycles haven't worked that well. So here we have the 17 week cycle, and that one, you know, it's going down, but market is not going down, and time is running out for the downside. And we do see, if we go one offset, one cycle back and 2 cycles back, we do see it's kind of breaking above the 2 cycle offset. That's a bullish sign. And if we look at the 10-week cycle, you know, the 10-week cycle has been kind of shifted. We are not in sync with this theoretical cycle. But if we look at the offset, here, offset 1 back, we see we are at the top of the previous cycle. If we have 2 offsets, we see all these cycles are aligned. And if we are to repeat this, we should have a down cycle coming up very soon. If we look at the composite of many cycles, we see it's pointing down, but it has not yet materialized in the market, and you know, time is kind of running out. We have May, June still bearish, and only the composite of only the longer cycles, it's really getting steep soon here in May. But still, time is kind of running out. And if you look at some offsets, you know, this is the theoretical 237-day calendar day cycle. You know, it has topped out, it's going straight down. Market's still not doing that. If you look at the offset of 1 cycle, we see we are kind of breaking out here. That's kind of a bullish sign. If you look at another offset, here I have my 7-year cycle in red. You see it's getting really steep down here, but so far market, well, are we on the edge or not? Here in gray I have the 40-week offset, and we have broken out bullish, and historically that's pretty good sign of a new bull market. But it has to be confirmed with a higher high, and especially this August high from last year, I think is critical. So, but I would not like to see it go above this high from February. More like a double top here and then going down. But here we see we have broken out of this offset, but ahead we could break down again. So I have been looking at this analog from year 2000, and possibly we are in this kind of a complex consolidation pattern, and if we see perhaps that's where we are. But in that case we should go down steeply very soon. If we start to gain more upside and momentum here, then it would look like a new bull market. So what else? I guess I would look at the Norwegian market, a pattern that I'm looking at there. So we are going back 40 50 years, 40 years, and the pattern I'm looking at here is in yellow. Here I have a kind of oversold indicator, and we see we got rather oversold here in 86, and the pattern is, you see this rectangle. After such an oversold condition, you get a bounce and then another low, and that low may be a higher low or a lower low, but normally we get some kind of a sideways pattern or a bearish pattern, a continuation to the downside, but if we get a higher low, then the downtrend is broken. And here in 87 we see we were oversold after the crash, went sideways but couldn't make a lower low, and then up we go. In 1990 we see we had a lower high and a lower low, and again this pattern repeated. We had a lower high and a lower low. In 94 we see we have a lower high, but we didn't, and a higher low, so it was a sideways move. In 98 we had kind of a double top and a lower low, a crash. Here a lower high, a lower low, lower high, lower low, and so it goes on. Kind of a double top and a lower low. In 2011 lower high but a higher low. That's where we are now. In Norway we have mostly gone sideways in this bear market. No real bear market here, but we have an oversold condition last fall, and now we are in this sideways pattern. Are we rolling over and getting a capitulation and a lower low, or will we make a higher low here and then up we go? So here I have drawn a comparison with some analogs, and here we see some very bearish analogs. They started to capitulate down about where we are now in red. But then we have the more bullish analogs. Here we see we made a higher low, and that's around May. That could be around May, June. It's kind of too early yet. This low that we just had should be a too early low, but if we don't crash here into May, June, but can find some support here, then could be a new bull market. And here we have some other ones. Most of these are kind of bullish, making a higher low. You see all these lows are ahead in time. This low we just had should be too early, so I'm looking for some kind of low ahead. Could be a capitulation or a higher low. So see you.